Right, hello to everybody just joining. Thought I'd do a stream. This isn't even going to be a full hour tonight. This is just going to be however long I go on for. But when I've got a load of people in, I wanted to actually ask, I'll ask now, but I'll ask again when I've got a load of people in. Have people not been getting notifications for my videos recently? Because I've had loads of videos recently where the views have been just completely random compared to normal. Normally, you know, I can guess quite well how many people are going to watch a video, but I had a very weird thing where I did the halberd video a couple of days ago and the mace one went live yesterday, and the halberd one got way more views than the mace one, even though they were really similar. And the video I did between those, mistake about the gas mask one, that had like 3,000 people watch it, which was very, very strange, because it seems very weird that, you know, like different videos seem to get so many variation in views. Before it would only be like 100 or 200 views difference, but now yeah, so obviously YouTube isn't handing out notifications to people, which seems a real shame, because obviously that's how people see my videos. But obviously if you're subscribed, you should know by now, at 5 PM UK time every day at the moment, although I've started applying for jobs at the moment, so when I get those, the video frequency per week will change. Probably I'll do 3 videos a week at that point. You know, they'll always be at 5 PM UK time unless I just randomly do a stream. Yeah, and I take it you've all clicked the bell. Actually, I tell you what, if you've clicked the bell and you're not getting them, try undoing the bell and then doing it again. Yeah, if people get notifications, that's good. But like I said, it's very strange because it seems to be all over the place with people actually getting them or saying they didn't get them. Yeah, that's fine. If it's a few minutes late, that's still good. You're getting notification. But as said, seems very odd. Yeah, so I said it's very strange. Yeah, obviously I don't like Scott GSR either, but I have it as the picture for this. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how many people we get on the stream as well, because obviously 21 people watching now according to my thing. Alright, that's good you got a notification, but yeah, Mike, I was just saying to people on here that, you know, I want to find out, kind of talking to people live, if the notifications are working or not, because like I said, my views are all over the place at the minute, and it's really weird, because it's not even like a regular decline on views, it's just where it seems some videos get the normal amount of views I'd expect, and then others just get no views, which isn't normal. It says in the FAQ, if you read it, mate, why I'm only doing audio streams, but it makes a lot more sense if you've actually read it. I mean, yeah, I think annoyingly YouTube does this thing where people keep saying they don't want this as a feature and YouTube forces it anyway, where if you subscribe to a load of channels and you go for a while without watching any new videos from a particular channel, then YouTube actually stops showing you notifications for that channel despite the fact you're subscribed to them. But Mike, who's Weapon Collector, he did a really interesting thing he sent me on Twitter the other day, where he was saying that, you know, when he clicks his subscriber box, he actually sees loads of things that, you know, are not channels he's subscribed to, but it's like YouTube shoving adverts in his face for, like, I'm just doing it. Yep, so I've clicked my subscription one, and again, I've got several live streams showing up at the top, which are not channels I'm subscribed to. But YouTube thinks I want to see it. Like, some are definitely channels I'm subscribed to, but there's definitely some on here I have never subbed to before. Yeah, this is very strange. Like I was saying, at the moment I'm just scrolling down my subscriptions, and lots of these are channels I'm pretty sure I've never subscribed to, or if I've subscribed, like, because I can click some of them and it doesn't show it as subscribed, so it's not like I've subscribed and forgotten. Or, you know, they're channels where I've not watched their videos for ages and they're getting put ahead of other ones. Very, very strange. Oh, Mike, I shared your video though earlier on my YouTube thing. I don't know if anybody got a notification for that, but I shared it internally on my YouTube page because I thought your zombie survival video was really good. Well, especially I was saying all those barricade kits in it. It's things, like you said, people don't normally think of. Cool. If it's a rare mask and he got it for cheap, that's good. Or are you saying he like got ripped off for it? Delexi, read the FAQ. It's in there as well. I think you're doing this on purpose now. Because if I say stuff's in the FAQ and I've already referred it to you once, and then you ask me another question out the FAQ, I think you're trying to just do it to annoy me, to be honest. Because I've had that a few times on these streams where people ask a question, I say, oh, if you read the FAQ in a description it will answer that question, and then they start asking all the other questions from the FAQ. So I'm not saying you're necessarily doing that, but yeah, so read it when I tell you to, please, because then we won't have this problem. Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, I'm not even that familiar with the mask. I take it you don't mean the C3, I take it you mean an older one. Yeah, like I was saying, it was quite nice of your video, seeing the thing, you know, where you had like lots of different utility things in all the magazine pouches, rather than it just being, oh, I've got 20, like, you know, magazines in my thing. Well, what I might do at some point, Ratnik, I mean, I kind of just do FAQ, because I don't bother with FAQ videos anymore, because when people want to ask me questions, they ask it in the live stream, and what happened is I had a couple of really good FAQ videos that were quite long ones. And then what happened was I didn't really get enough good questions, if that made sense, or people just kept asking questions I'd previously done. So that's why I never bothered doing another, you know, any more of those FAQ ones, because it's easier just to get people to ask you questions real time on a live stream and then just answer it for them. But what I might do is Mike did one of these, Weapon Collector did one, like sometime this week I think it was, where he basically did an live stream where you could only ask questions. Like, you know, I guess he put you in a timeout if you kept saying stuff that wasn't a question, but the idea was that, you know, we'd have the chat set to quite a slow mode, and then you'd ask a question and he could answer it properly, so I might do a stream like that at some point. But when you say you've seen the Mickey Mouse mask, I assume you mean the British one, not an American one, because if you've seen the American one, you should have bought it no matter what it costs because of how rare they are. Mark 6 British helmets are supposedly awful. I think they look quite interesting, but they're ballistically really bad. They can't even stop 9mm rounds. They weren't designed to, but that's beside the point, because all the old steel helmets could still do that. What you need to do, Niam, if I'm pronouncing your name right, is get a bag, like one of those airtight sandwich bag things, and just wrap the filter in that and tie it. That's not a perfect thing, but then you're at least going to prevent it from being contaminated by anything else. But unless you can somehow re-foil wrap it, there's not a lot you can do. Yeah, the thing I've always said in zombie survival videos is if you could get a boat somewhere, I think that would be fine if it's not somewhere with really rough sea. Like if you could take a boat out into the middle of a lake or something, because zombies can't swim, they'd obviously walk underwater, I guess. You know, I think you could just take a boat out and then you'd be fine. Well, I've already got some Eastern Bloc military gear, quite a lot of it. I might get some more, but again, it always comes down to money and space, which is the thing I don't think a lot of people appreciate, is I can't just afford to randomly buy stuff, and then I don't have the space to randomly keep putting stuff anywhere. So like I said, I'm getting another job soon, hopefully. I applied for one today. If I'm lucky, I'll get an interview soon for that and just be able to start on that job and it'll be alright. If not, I'll have to try applying for more and more. But the point is I want to actually, you know, start working again, just because it's doing my head in a little bit, you know, being at home so often, not doing much, and like we're saying with YouTube being really random in terms of views and stuff, I'd rather do a few less videos per week and, you know, work a couple of actual days a week. No, I'm not going to open a PO box just because of all the weird stuff I get from people here. Alright, cheers. No, I've never heard of P4 filters. I think P3 is the best you can get. I think I've said in videos before, the issue is if you could in theory just keep making particle filters more and more efficient, you just get to the point where they block everything and then you'd suffocate. I just am. I've answered that before in videos, but you know, just if you're interested in stuff, you find it interesting. I doubt people can explain to you why they find stamp collecting so interesting who do that, or classic cars. I won't say exactly what it is unless I get it, but it's basically sort of a cleaning job, you know, that sort of thing. It's just basically something that's nearby and I think I'd be alright at doing. It's nothing exciting, but, you know, if it's a job I can get on with and it's nearby, not much commuting distance, then that would be ideal. That's pretty cool, Firewolf. See, and could you explain, Pandaman, why you collect typewriters? Other than you find it interesting? If you can get a US Pascat helmet, or any of the copies of the Pascat other countries have made one of those, because they're Kevlar 3A, so they're going to stop pretty much any handgun round. Because everything from Nazi Germany is so expensive, because it's kind of like an overpriced collectible thing. I'm not planning on cutting open lots of different filter types of things, just simply because, like I said, it's not a great thing to do, and I had loads of GP5 filters anyway. I have like probably 10 plus GP5 filters because of all the masks that just randomly come with them. So that's why I did a GP5 filter, but you're not going to see very much of interest, and you can find other people's videos or pictures where they've cut open those filters anyway. I said, unless you get a proper asbestos lab to test it, you're never going to get a really good, thorough answer on asbestos content, for example. Yeah, then get one if you can, because that's pretty cool. I've got an old rusty shell of a, I think it's an M40 helmet, oh, it might be an M38, but in general in the UK, German World War II helmets are ridiculously expensive. Well, a best filter for the S10 would just be like the most modern, good ABEC P3 filter you could get, for example, or CBRN filter. I've done a video. I don't have a Gorka, I have the Ukrainian equivalent of a winter Gorka, and that's it. I'm going to do a video soon when I get the space to do it on my full helmet collection as of what I've got now, because I've got a few more helmets than when I previously did a helmet collection video. So I can definitely add the Mark III Riot helmet to that, the Mark 7 helmet, and the Cobra helmet. Not Cobra helmet, sorry, Commando helmet. So that would be a bit more interesting. But this is a question I'll ask for people again, because when I did the poll, like over a year ago, or whenever it was, well over a year ago, most people said they wanted gas mask videos. Now, is that still the same, or do some people want other things? Because this is another thing that I think gas mask videos still do the best for views, but now and again I'll randomly do other videos that are really popular, but it never seems to be a trend, so it's hard for me to know what people kind of want to watch. I think plumber's tape might work, Benjamin, as long as you're really thorough at doing it, but you could damage the filter thread by forcing a NATO filter in. As I said, Sheep, I don't accept anything on here, just because, you know, I can't really trust people randomly sending me stuff, especially with how dodgy it is in Britain. Anonymous user, I guess you're going to say the seller says it has no asbestos. Well, it will, because the seller's lying, unless they gave you it with a completely different filter. Do you want a locking or a non-locking knife? But there's quite a few good non-locking knives. Like I've got a Prometheus one that's a very cheap non-locking knife, and Weapon Collector reviewed one that was almost identical recently that was very good. No, P100 is just the American name for a P3 filter because they use a different naming system. Yeah, because this is the thing, like, let's look at the videos I uploaded recently. and I can use Morning Fame to tell me how popular they've been. So let's go back to about 10 days ago. I'll go to 11. So the video on a cup of tea, that was the 10th most popular video I'd done in a while. This goes up to like 50 videos or something. Working homemade filter, that was my 6th most popular video, so that was really popular. Practical everyday uses of surplus was 21st, so quite a bit lower. Explaining about nuclear and radiological bombs, that was 26th, so you know that's not all that popular. Historical uses of asbestos was 24th, so again not that popular. The one on radioactive quackery though was 14th, so that was like 10 ranks higher, which is a bit strange. The video on my riot helmet, the Mark III Guardian, was 33rd, so not many people were interested in that. The thing about why filters expire was 38th, so I guess it turns out most people weren't interested in that at all. The halberd video was 8th, so a lot of people like that. The yet another mistakes about gas masks was the most popular video I've done in ages. But then the flanged mace video was 28th, you know, compared to the halberd being 8th, which I can't understand because they're both very similar videos of the riot shield being tested with, you know, medieval weapons. So that's really odd, I don't get that. And then the camo one is 40th, but that's only gone live today, but camo videos normally aren't as popular, I just like doing them to get out and do something. Yeah, volcanic ash would clog an NBC filter. Pretty much anything that's not pure air clogs up NBC filters. Yeah, Richard, I mean, if that's the sort of thing that appeals to you, I think those sort of videos would be, you know, more popular but for you. But like I said, I was trying to get... Can I do a poll in this stream? Because if I can, I will do that now. Card. Add card. Poll, here we go. Right, I've created a poll, which you can click on in the video. It should appear at the top right. Click on that and vote. And I'll have a look at the results, because that's a bit more accurate than everybody just saying what they prefer, because then I can at least do it with number crunching. However, I might do an actual video on this and then put the poll in the video again just to see what people want, you know, because it's been over a year since I last did one. But, you know, I'm personally quite interested in seeing what people want to see. Well, like I said, I'm not a fan of the GP7 or PMK at all, so I wouldn't recommend them. I think you're just going to have to wait with a lot of masks. It's just when they turn up, other times they don't. You pretty much can't. If you're using a filter in a contaminated environment, it's going to clog up. You need spare filters. The longer you're in that environment, the faster it clogs. Or, you know, the more contaminants and the longer you're in there, the more it's going to clog the filter. Yeah, well, I think with a lot of people it might be they just want like almost like every 3 and 4 videos to be a gas mask one, then maybe occasionally something else. So when I have a few in a row that aren't gas mask ones, maybe they start losing interest and then YouTube starts turning off their notifications. Have you got a tactical pen, Georgia? Because that would be kind of useful, because you can use that to defend yourself and it's not illegal to have one, and a bright flashlight, especially if it's on with a strobe. I mean, if they're stolen from under your pillows while you're there and you're asleep, there's not much you can have done about it, but if it's, you know, stuff you can legally carry, I'd say something like a tactical pen and a really good flashlight. When it actually gets cold, I might get one, but I can't really justify getting it at the moment while it's still quite warm. I have a couple of other hats, but when I did a headgear video a while ago, that wasn't as popular as I thought it would be. The one on random headgear with like the weird beekeeper looking camo head thing. As I said, that's the issue with YouTube, is there's videos I might think might be a good subject for a video, but you do them, and then YouTube punishes you because, oh no, not enough of your subscribers click this. Yeah, I'm hoping I can look at the poll results as it goes on. So yeah, 100% of people have so far have voted for gas masks apparently. Alright, cheers Ratnik. Yeah, so you got one a bit too big, did you, Dimmy? You can vote if you click at the top right. Yeah, like I said, I can do videos like that, but I'm just gonna have to probably, and that's the thing. If I go down to doing 3 videos a week, it's gonna be a bit more of a problem if people really don't watch certain videos. Oh, and for the people who kept asking me to make an Instagram account, I did actually make one now, so people can't make a fake impersonation account of me on there. So I've got one on there. I think it's Weapons and Stuff, and then it's just _93. It's got a picture that's not from a video that's live yet, so you'll know it's me, because it can't be somebody who's just taken a photo from a video. But I said to somebody earlier, I'm not using it to just chat to people on there, because I get too many spam messages when I let people randomly PM me. So it's not me trying to be a dick, it's just, you know, I can't really deal with having loads of people try and PM me on there. If you want to add me and follow me on there, I might occasionally add pictures to it. Alright, thanks CBRN NBC. Alright, cool, yeah. I think I might have to refresh the page as well to see the different results, because at the moment it just still says gas masks 100%, unless I have to check the FAQ once the stream's finished. But, yeah. Alright, now I've got different results. Gas mask 50%, helmets 14%, camo 21%, weapons 14%. I did notice though, out of a load of recent videos I did, the crossbow ones are actually the least popular. So I probably won't do any more crossbow videos for a while. I already did a thing, Cowboy, about sort of masks recommended for like wildfires and volcanic stuff. Yeah, thanks Georgia, that's what you need to do. Click the eye, then you can see the poll. But yeah, gas masks are still well ahead, it seems. I think for me it's just kind of because when I end up doing too many gas mask videos in a row, I kind of feel like I'm just doing it too samey, even if subscribers don't feel that way. I think that's the problem. I always want to mix the content up a bit more, and sometimes the viewers don't want to see mixed up content. Yeah, well the thing is with lighters, I haven't got any new lighters for quite a while. There's one I'm kind of tempted to get, but I'll wait till I've got a job before I spend a bit more out on a lighter, because if nobody watches the video then it's a bit of a waste, because I don't actually need any more lighters for utility use. And I mean, as much as I like collecting them, again, they do take up space. Right, I'll get rid of the random person just spamming a comment that's not in English. Does what work on mobile? The poet should work on mobile somehow, yeah. They're not classified as weapons as long as you don't do anything stupid with them or thing. But by weapons I just mean stuff like maces, halberds, crossbows, air rifles. I know some of these are technically sporting goods, but you know, I just mean in general, like the deactivated guns I've got. Yeah, because this is the problem when I do stuff like this, is then you get loads of people actually saying, you know, they like this video, somebody else likes another, and then it's really hard to get an idea. Alright, cheers. Yeah, like I was saying, it's a bit hard for me, because it's where sometimes you get people saying, you know, oh, I like this, somebody else likes that. I mean, if people watch the videos anyway, then it's not too much of a problem, but obviously, like I was saying, the issue is at the moment is so far this month, I think my views have suddenly just dropped like 10% at the start of the month. It was really odd. Like, last month was the second best month I had on record. I think I had like well over 700,000 views. Yeah, last month was 765,000 views in total. And now this month looks like it's probably going to end up... I'll have a quick look and see if I can try and figure out, based on the first sort of 10-15 days of the month, what it's going to finish up as. But yeah, this month looks like it's going to end up as maybe 500,000, low 500,000, so like a 200,000 odd drop off in views, which is obviously a bit worrying for me. As I said, I am going to get a part-time job now anyway, just because, You know, I need to actually just, for this, even if my YouTube is still doing really well, I actually feel like I need to do something else at the moment. I can stream random games. I've been streaming some Call of Pripyat recently, but also it's just, you know, finding time to do streams. Yeah, Richard, I mean, it really depends how you want to classify it, but I'm just using weapon as an overbranching term. Well, the thing is, all the stories I said about are things that really happened, so I don't want to make anything up, you know. So if you like stuff like that, watch 13 O'Clock Podcast. I support them on Patreon, and they do really good videos, you know, like hour to 2 hour long kind of podcast ones about different serial killers and paranormal events. Alright, cool, see ya. But yeah, for the people who didn't know, hit the bell notification if you want it, in theory, get notified every time I do a video, but I bet YouTube still won't do it for a lot of people. No, I didn't forget them, Dimmy, because look at the date the video was published. Go and look at it. Because I get this a lot, where people watch an old video and then they say, why didn't you talk about something that came out after you made the video? Well, the thing is, like, the only one I'd really consider is Twitch, but, like I say, if I'm streaming games, I might as well stream it so people on YouTube can watch it and chat as well, because then I'd have to build up a Twitch fan base. When you say stuff versus stuff, do you mean like equipment versus other equipment? Yeah, no worries, it's just it annoys me because I get that a lot where people say like, oh, you forgot to mention something, and it's like not even happened at the time I made the video, because I don't have a time machine, which is a bit weird, but you know, if I had a time machine I might use it for other purposes other than doing YouTube videos. I mean, yeah, I'd have to try and get a load of people out to do it, but the original one got quite popular for a couple of days because the official Stalker Facebook page put it on their page, and then loads of people saw it from that. Right, we've gone up to 35 people watching the stream, so that's a bit of a better number, but again, it's a bit odd, because you'd think if everybody in theory gets notified when the channel does a stream, and I've got 45,000 subscribers or something like that, you'd think they'd all sort of be on, wouldn't you, but, you know. Alright, as I said, I applied for a job earlier, but we'll have to see. It might be a couple of days before I hear back, and then if it's too long before I hear back, I'll apply for a different job. But, you know, like I said, that's something I'm just going to try and get now, because I think it depends on the time zone, but I think at this time of day, even people in America, and like 40 to 50% of my subscribers, I think, are in America. So you'd think most of them would be on, but maybe they're doing other things. Well, that is technically a notification, unless you mean... Because for me, if you have the YouTube app, you know, you get the red icon on the bow, and if you've got it on your phone or like a tablet, you'll then get a notification that says this person is doing this. No, there aren't any wild bears in Britain. There aren't any wolves either, because they're all long since extinct here. I assume it's pretty cold up there, BBD. Yeah, so I've got people from all the different time zones then. I don't know, Jake, because like I said, it's one of those things where it was never properly sold, because it's the official government stuff, and I only got it because my uncle does painting and decorating, and he was doing like somebody's house, you know, like painting a room for them or something, and they were talking about the Cold War, and then he said, oh, like my parents are on the emergency committee, and then he got it out the attic, you know, where they used to have all the guidebook. And he said, you know, if you want it, you can have it. And he said, well, my nephew's really into all that sort of stuff. And the guy said, yeah, have it. You know, he had no need for it. So I only got it, you know, because my uncle was doing that, and somebody, you know, he came into contact with had it from his parents and had no need for it. Like I said, I'm not sure which mask you mean by the Mark III. Do you mean, when you say Mark III, do you mean like with the Mark IV and 5 GSR? Do you mean the Mark III General Service Respirator, like the one from the 30s? If it's in good condition, $100 for that's pretty good, I guess, because they're fairly rare masks. Yeah, Ireland would be the same time zone because it's just a little bit west. I don't know which mask you mean then, because like the Mark IV or Mark V, if you're on about general service respirators, were stockinette and rubber. There's a Reddit for gas masks. I don't know how good that is. There's a couple of Discords. There's the gas mask collectors community one, whatever it's called, on Facebook, but I'm not that active on them because a lot of the time it's people saying like, does this filter contain asbestos? Or it's people like saying, my rare mask is more rare than your mask. It's the reason I don't take part in a lot of those forums, because I just kind of find a dick waving really childish. Alright, cool, I'll check that out then, if you're on my Patreon Discord and you've got a picture of it. I don't know that particular helmet, but if it's level 3A then it's pretty good. Assuming that the helmet's in good enough condition that it won't be compromised. Well, I don't mean literal dick measuring, I mean just like the dick waving you get on loads of forums where people have to try and outboast each other. Well, if it's ground up more, they work better because smaller charcoal particles give a better surface volume than bigger ones, but simply having a bigger filter because of the volume, that's why it works, because it's just a load of charcoal. No, I didn't go to university, because if I did that then I'd be like 30 odd grand in debt. Yeah, if you can get a Nokia V2 for $12, that's a really good price. I'd do that. Yep. Yeah, I know about the Atlin and all the Altin, however it's pronounced, and all the other like titanium Russian and Soviet helmets. But sadly, it's really hard to find genuine ones in the UK that aren't, you know, like replicas that are then being charged loads of money for. Yeah, I only get a mask if it's like a really rare, interesting, weird looking one, if people don't know what it is, or if I actually know what it is, you know, and I think, oh, that's a good price. Cool. Yeah, I don't have any World War I bayonets. Most of my bayonets from the Cold War. Alright, it totally depends on the mask. If it's a rare mask, $150 might be good for it. If it's a really common as muck mask, then no. I wouldn't live stream multiplayer games simply for the reason that I need to use a load of bandwidth to do the stream, so I'd just be lagging all over the place, I imagine. What did Peach say? I must have missed it. I've got it set to top chat, not live chat. I hate this stupid thing, why it's not doing that by default. Alright. He's dick waving. Yeah, so 50k, not 30k, but you get my point. I have no interest in going to uni because there's not a particular qualification I wanted. You know, I think a lot of people did get suckered into going into uni for stuff they didn't need to do. I think I've said before that, you know, if my school had been better at getting kids to do the career paths they actually wanted to do rather than, you know, just trying to shovel everybody into university, I'd have probably done an apprenticeship because, you know, you can do some apprenticeships and make really good money out of it. They're, you know, like blue-collar kind of practical jobs, the kind of thing I like doing. But sadly, my school kind of just tried to shove everybody into go-to-university box. Right, I'll have a quick look on the Discord for you. That's a Mark IV, not a Mark III, that's why. I wouldn't pay... How much did you say it was? But yeah, they're normally worth like £30 in the UK, 30 to £50. That's the Mark IV. The Mark III has no rubber in it, it's just kind of like a canvasy material, looks like a World War I mask. If you get a GP5, just don't use the filter. Yeah, if you can get you know, like ex-army stuff cheap, then it's good. But yeah, like it depends where you are again, because if you're in a country where you can't get some of this stuff, then it's just, you know, ends up being a lot more expensive. Yeah, I mean, if you end up going to university because there's something you genuinely want to do, you know, that's fine. But I think a lot of people kind of get scammed into doing it, where the schools push them into it. You know, they just go for whatever qualification they want that might not, you know, get them a job at all in the future. They get into loads of student debt for it, and what have they accomplished? You know, they've just spent several years kind of drinking and partying, I guess, while studying for a qualification they can't use. Yeah, see, I think, yeah, you did the right thing there, doing an apprenticeship, because, like I said, generally, at least from the UK perspective, people I knew who actually did do apprenticeships are now doing far, far better than anybody I knew who, you know, went to uni. I was saying about that, I did hear apparently that, like, professors that teach things like women's studies and things like that on average make $10,000 more a year than like STEM type things, which, you know, is really bad in terms of, makes you think, where is this all going? There was not gas masks in terms of nuclear quackery, but there was like a radium mask or something that had radioactive stuff in the mask, and they thought, you know, that would rejuvenate your skin. I'll put a picture of it in the thing. They're quite creepy looking. If I can get one of these to load up. Right, here you go. This is from a Reddit thing, but there's a Reddit post about a radium mask. The guy's eyes aren't white, it's just they've like blurred his eyes out on this picture. But yeah, that weird Hannibal Lecter looking mask thing's a radium mask with just, you know, radioactive stuff on his face for no reason. I already have a Patreon, so if people want to contribute to me, they can do it on there. I don't want to really have a PayPal thing associated for donations. But I appreciate the thing, and I know some people can't use Patreon, so if they can't do that, then, you know, I can't get a donation, but yeah, I mean, Hungary's been doing quite a lot of sensible things. I know George Soros has been crying about how Hungary's kind of chased him out the country for doing all this progressive, and when we say progressive, we mean subversive stuff. I'd recommend camouflage of scrimletting rather than the ghillie suit, because ghillie suits are kind of, like I said, they work sometimes really well, but I think most of the time it's, you know, more choosing a good camouflage pattern and just breaking the form up a bit. You mean the Dilbert guy, Scott oh no, not Scott, that's Scott Adams, isn't it, Dilbert? No, I've not done anything with Scott Pilgrim, that was like some video gamey movie, no. But yeah, you've reminded me of Scott Adams now, thank you, because yeah, I found Dilbert really funny, but that's not related to what you asked. I won't stay on too much longer, as I said, because I wasn't doing an hour tonight. I just wanted to come on to ask people some questions. What I'm going to do now is just check the poll and see what's that on. Gas masks is at 45%. So, weirdly enough, not many people voted for helmets, despite the helmet videos generally get more views than a lot of the other things. But the problem is, I suppose this isn't a big enough sample size, is it, if we've only had about 40 people on. So yeah, I think I have to do a video and then say, you know, there is a poll in the video. Yeah, like they were saying, I think ghillie suits are going to be bulky and going to trap a lot of heat, which isn't really what you want. It's at the top right, there's an eye. There's other people that said you might have to refresh the page and then click the eye. That depends on the environment. Cadpat is very good if you're in like evergreen forests, but I think Cadpat again isn't going to work in many other places but that. Again, Cadpat has black in it, which I think if they put a much darker green in it or a much darker brown, it'd be a better camo. I think it is a really good looking camo. It's just a shame the Canadians don't sell it as surplus and they destroy it, because they could actually make money, you know, selling it on the surplus market, but no, they don't like to do that for some reason. Yeah, I might just do a video on it because I quite like getting comments as well, but I need to tell people, you know, for your thing to count, make sure you vote in the poll, because sometimes loads of people leave comments where they're not even specific about what they want. Or if I had, you know, like 300 people vote in the poll for gas masks, I might then have 10 people in the comments all say they want camo videos, and then that, you know, makes the numbers a bit weird. So, you know, I generally go on the poll numbers more than what people say in the comments. Right, thanks, Mike. Yep. Yeah, in one of my camo test videos, I also did the thing where I just put a scrim net over my head. You know, like the top half, like my torso and shoulders and that. It didn't even fully cover my legs, and it was really hard to see, you know, the back of my legs because they're at a flat angle. It just looks like bumpy ground. Right, Richard, thanks for voting. As said, I'd quite like to, you know, get people who do genuine votes, even if they're not all voting for gas masks, because then I get some more results in. Like I said, if you like all of them, what I might do actually when I do the video poll in the actual video, I might just say all of the above or something, or don't mind, just so, you know, I've got an option where if people don't really know what to pick, you know, they don't feel forced to. No, I've already got an idea what I'm going to do for a 50k special when I eventually get there, and it might be to do with the phone call that saved Europe. You will like the M51. I won't say any more than that, some people might get what I'm referencing, but I think it'll be funnier if I don't over-explain it. I'm tempted to do a video quite soon about kind of like apocalyptic events that might actually happen. You know, like things to do with bird flu, because I've been following the kind of recent bird flu strain things, and there's a lot of those that actually seem like they're getting more and more contagious now in Asia. You know, despite the news barely talking about it. So I use the Google alert thing. I voted leave, but I think they're doing a very bad job of actually leaving. Well, my recommendation is with filters really is get ABEC P3 filters or proper CBRN filters and get ones in date. So really all I do is look on eBay and spot ones that are still in date and sealed, but actually, you know, like well priced. Well, Disease X is one of the things that bird flu could be. Disease X is basically just, I think, like, you know, scientists considering what a global pandemic could be with an unexpected disease. But yeah, bird flu is one of the things that could be considered to be a Disease X, I think, because like I said, Disease X is not a specific disease in itself. And yeah, like I say, the bird flu thing is where they've had a couple of very deadly strains of bird flu that, you know, are spreading more and more. Alright, Vlad. Sort of saying about that earlier in the stream, I don't particularly know, I just find military stuff quite interesting and gas masks are cheap compared to other stuff. Well, sadly there's a lot of these diseases where, because a lot of people are scared of vaccinations, you know, they raise the risk of everybody getting diseases because they don't want to actually vaccinate children or whatever else from it. When you say the moisture outbreak, do you mean the movie Outbreak, or is this something else? The Ebola thing, it was quite severe in some African countries, but the thing is with Ebola, it seems to kind of be treated and die away, and then, you know, they'll have a little outbreak of it again. The thing is, as far as I'm aware with Ebola, is if you're not actually eating like bushmeat or whatever they call it that gives it it's quite hard to get it through, you know, bodily contact, unless, you know, you're having sex or something with somebody who actually has it, or you're letting them bleed all over you. Ebola's not anywhere near as bad as flu, because flu is, you know, the thing that kills the most people per year, I think, out of any of the diseases anyway. Maybe malaria is also pretty bad, but flu is, you know, one of the really dangerous diseases everybody ignores. And then it's when you have a particularly bad flu outbreak, there's not much anybody can do. I haven't seen Rain. I did see a TV program called Containment or Outbreak or something like that was quite good. Although the problem is, I think it was originally a Belgian or French TV series. Then it was remade as an American one, and I didn't think it was a bad remake, although I hadn't seen the original. But the issue was, I think they were going to have 2 series, and then at the end the studio or whoever was financing it said no, you can only have 1 series. They had to resolve the plot really quickly. So, you know, the last couple of episodes are just stupid, because this is going to be like a spoiler, but like the disease, you know, they just find a cure almost magically for it, when, you know, there have been not much previous stuff about them finding a cure. Yeah, I've seen 6 Days, I like that. Although all the reviewers hated 6 Days, didn't they? If you like 6 Days, watch Ultimate Force, which was an old ITV TV series that had Ross Kemp in and Chris Ryan. And it was actually written by Chris Ryan for the first 2 series, because generally with Ultimate Force people consider series 1 and 2 to be really good, then 3 and 4 to be a bit crap, but I still think 3 and 4 are fun in their own right. But that was, you know, like sort of, I think, roughly an hour-long episode each time, and it was, you know, about kind of like fictional stories involving the SAS. So it's one of those things you'd kind of like if you like 6 Days. Yeah, 28 Days Later is good. I need to rewatch that. I don't like 28 Weeks Later. I had somebody having a go at me earlier because I didn't like 28 Weeks Later. But if you watch 28 Days Later and then watch 28 Weeks Later, you can see there's a massive difference in quality. But 28 Days Later is actually just a spiritual successor to Day of the Triffids anyway. It's like the exact same plot, just with kind of zombies in it, not carnivorous plants. Was that the one with Matt Damon in Outbreak? Or is Outbreak the one with the monkey that bites the people, and then because you see they all have similar names and I can't remember, but I've seen all of those type ones. I think I like contagious disease movies. The Andromeda Strain's good as well. There's quite a few of those. I like George Romero's The Crazies as well. I've seen The Life of Brian. I've seen ages ago, and I really need to rewatch it because I can only remember certain scenes from it. The Holy Grail. Yeah, I've seen Outbreak then, yeah, it's the one with the monkey, isn't it, that bites somebody in a pet store or container ship or something, and then they have all the soldiers of the M17s on. And it's got Donald Sutherland as like the evil general who wants to nuke the town or something. Yeah, I've seen Outbreak. There's not a 28 months later film unless that's an unofficial one. There's 28 Days Later, which is the original, 28 Weeks Later, which is the sequel, and then I think they were going to do a trilogy of 28 years later, but then because nobody really liked 28 Weeks Later, that sort of flopped. The thing is, I think the reason a lot of people like 28 Weeks Later is the people who do like it is because it's a lot more actiony, whereas I didn't like that, because I think 28 Days Later is a lot more tense, and it's, you know, a lot more realistic with how people might try and survive a zombie outbreak. Yeah, I got swine flu when that was a thing. It was quite good because that was when I was still at school and I got a week off school, so I was quite happy even though I was ill. But, you know, yeah, pandemic flus are actually the most dangerous of all diseases because, you know, flu is just so contagious you almost can't stop it. And then, you know, if you got a particularly bad strain of flu, that's, you know, the really dangerous thing, because the big one, if people don't know about it, is there was what they called the Spanish flu, which was a particular bird flu outbreak after World War One, and the Spanish flu killed more people than World War One in a couple of years. I think the Spanish flu killed over 100 million people. I've seen Train to Busan, yeah, I think that was on Amazon Prime as well, where I watched that. But yeah, the Spanish flu was actually far more deadly than World War One, which is sort of crazy to think about, but you know, it killed probably, was it 100 million? It might have been less than that. maybe I'm exaggerating that. Let me have a look. Do they have... Oh yeah, no, it resulted in deaths to 50 to 100 million people. 3 to 5% of the world's population. So yeah, the Spanish flu really was one of the deadliest outbreaks in human history. Yeah, I have people that subscribe to me, Ratnik, just to dislike. Somebody just early said, wow, you've got a hater that came on really quickly with your camo test video. So no, it's been like that for a couple of years. I've got somebody that dislikes every video, or a couple of people that dislike every video, but whatever, they're giving me interactions. Yeah, Series 3 starts in October, doesn't it, for Man in the High Castle? Definitely watch that. I don't know, are they going to do an episode per week? Because with Series 1 they just did all the episodes at once, didn't they? Or like half the series was released in one day. Or they did, I think they released like episode 1 and 2, didn't they, well before the rest of the series, and they just dumped the entire series at once. Well, to be honest, they can dislike if they want, but I just do find it quite sad that some people subscribe to a channel just to dislike videos. If you don't like my videos, why watch them? It's my kind of, you know, opinion. I think disease is the most probable. Like when you have all these like alien invasions or zombie movies or whatever, you know, an actual, you know, proper disease type one is a lot more realistic with just how contagious some diseases can be. You can only send 200 characters on this because it's a stream. My riot gloves, I don't know what the individual model is, but they're called public order gloves. I know there's several variations even in the UK, but public order gloves is basically the UK code word meaning riot or anti-riot glove. Personally, probably the Avon FM12 or CT12, but the Forshida F2 is also very good, and the F2A4. The funny thing in the Man in the High Castle is when the German soldiers actually have like camouflage on, not the like German World War II style uniforms. If you notice, it's Stricktarn, it's East German Stricktarn they're wearing. But in loads of stuff with like Nazi Germany, they always put East German uniforms on, I think, because there's just so many about and they're cheap, and you know, for most people they wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Like, not absolutely everything, but I just mean loads and loads of films do that, and TV shows. Yeah, I know other channels have complained about that before, Mike. You know, like not even ones I regularly watch, but you know, they've had, you know, like a rant about the 1 or 2 people that dislike every video, and I think, yeah, they don't even get a reaction from me. This is the thing. It's not like they think, oh, I'm winding him up. I really couldn't care less, as I've said before, because my dislike ratio is always dwarfed by my like ratio. I just find it really weird somebody would actually sub to dislike every new video the moment it comes out. Like, why? That's cool. Yeah, NBC gloves are good even if you're just using them for like scrubbing stuff with disinfectant or something. Do you mean the Sheffield Israeli knife? Well, I've not broken it, but I've not used it loads either. But yeah, I think it's quite good if you like that kind of knife, like the big Bowie type knives, Bowie knives. You know, it's similar to a K-bar, but not exactly a K-bar. But for actual practical cutting knives, I like things like Moras and Opinels for the most part. Yeah, with riot armour though, actually I'll quickly put a picture in the video from something I took a photo of the other day. It's in an upcoming video anyway, but... if I can... Windows is being stupid, hang on a second. It's where I'm trying to drag it onto a picture and it's being very irritating to try and drag on. No, I don't think it's gone on. Let me just try again. If it doesn't work, we'll just have to, you have to see it when I do the actual video. No, it's not going to work, sadly. But But what I was trying to do is, I'll just check it's not, yeah, it's not behind that image. Is I had a picture of, like, a mannequin in the full UK right armour when I went to Kelvedon Hatch the other day. Yeah, as I've said loads of times, I think the FBI basically murdered everybody at Waco and got away with it, because a lot of them lied under oath. You can see that on all the Waco documentaries that aren't the official government ones, where, you know, they were all asked about it, and, you know, they'd say one thing and then they get caught, you know, lying under oath about it, and then they'd say another thing, but it was never properly investigated. Like I said, I don't feel much sympathy for David Koresh, but I do for all the children that were murdered there, gassed for 6 hours and then burned alive. Joe, that's in the video description, in the FAQ. When you say pants, do you mean trousers? Because I know Americans call trousers pants, but pants here is like underpants. Underwear. Do you mean 95 DPM desert? If you search desert 95 or something like that, desert DPM, you'll see the ones that Britain used before multicam MTP. That's a tough one on canned food, because I bet there's some stuff I really like. I quite like baked beans, they're in cans. I'll have a quick look at Oak Ukrainian camo, but I'll be going in a minute because I've already gone longer than I said I would, because, you know, I've got talking. Yeah, that camo looks alright. The only thing is, it looks... I don't know how disruptive it would be. You know, that's the only thing. Because the ones I'm seeing kind of just look like two colour ones. Is this the one that's green and brown and black? Because when I search oak camo, a couple of different colour patterns come up. I've just spotted one that's Latvian digital camo, and I quite like that. That's green and shades of brown. I don't know who you are, Bartek, but why have you been blocked? But you're not blocked, are you, if you're speaking at the moment? But if you're trying to get around a ban evasion as somebody else, then you're staying blocked. Yeah, I actually shared his video as well, Richard, onto my YouTube channel page, the community page I've got. So in theory you should have been notified about it twice, but again, like I said, notification's not going out properly. Yeah, I like the ones, like what they call them, woolly police. I really like those. You get like the blue RAF ones and the green army ones. I wear those when the weather actually generally is really cold, because I like, they're slightly itchy, like things like that are, because they're not cotton or anything. Obviously they're just proper wool jumpers, but yeah, it was a very good video. I've said this before, if you do something stupid and get banned and then try and do ban evasion or whine about being unbanned, you're just getting banned again. I get asked this every stream. I should put it in the FAQ. I assume that it's not in the FAQ, is it? Let's have a quick look. No, I won't put it in the FAQ now, but it's an AMD 9590 processor and an FX 480. Is it FX they call the AMD cards? I can't remember. It's the 480, whichever it is, because I know they're on the 580 and better cards now. But like I said, what I'm going to do in a year or so is just buy a totally brand new stock built PC, because I can't be bothered to make one myself again now. One that actually can take DDR4 RAM and everything else, because mine's like an ancient thing that I've just kept cannibalising parts and making it better and better. RX 480, that's it. Yep. Yeah, because the FX 9590, yeah, FX is the CPU, RX is the GPU, thank you. Yeah, are you doing a stream later, Mike? Because if you're doing a Fallout 4 stream or something, I'll watch that a bit later. They're illegal in Britain. Or they're in a very dodgy grey area, so I wouldn't, you know, show them if I did get them or anything like that. And again, because it's the UK, there's lots of silly things where they're, you know, some things are allowed and other things aren't, but like I said, lots of grey areas, so it's not the thing I'd like to get into. Mike is weapon collector. But anyway, alright, cool. Yeah, I'm finished the stream now, because I'm going to go get a little bit more to eat and maybe make myself a decaf coffee. So thanks for watching, everybody. As I said, it's gone for over an hour yet now, and I didn't think I was going to go for an hour. I thought I was going to do like a 30 or 40 minute stream just to ask some people some FAQs. I'll just check the poll one more time before I actually go off. But as I said, I'll probably do an actual video where I ask people to vote in the poll. You know, and that way I can hopefully get more accurate results to work with. But Gasmask is still winning and everything else is roughly mixed. So that gives me an idea on the ratio of videos, but as I said, I'll do one on an actual video and hopefully maybe get at least a couple of thousand results. I'll do another stream at some point, but yeah, see ya.